Lesson 13. Guiding foreign tourists around your region or local area. Dialogue.
Tomo, you're a volunteer tour guide for foreign tourists that visit Tokushima Prefecture, right?
Yes. I started when I was in first grade in high school. This is my second year taking part. At weekends, I go to the Awa Odori Festival Hall to explain to visitors the history of the Awa Odori, or meet tourists at the station and give them directions to their hotels.
That's amazing. Don't you find it difficult to explain your own country's history or culture in English?
I do. Explaining Japan's history and culture requires using lots of proper nouns and ideas unique to Japan, so it's difficult to translate them into English. You have to prepare thoroughly beforehand.
I can imagine. In order to explain your own culture to people from a different cultural background, you must have to explain clearly and objectively.
Yes, if you assume that people from other countries understand things that seem obvious to you, you often can't get them to understand what you're trying to say.
I see. So as a guide, being knowledgeable and having fluent language skills are obviously important, but you also need to be considerate of your audience. By the way, Tomo, what has been your most difficult experience while volunteering as a tour guide?
I suppose it was last year's Awa Odori.
The Awa Odori? Tell me more about it.
During last year's Awa Odori, I went up to a foreign tourist who seemed to be in trouble. It turned out that they had lost their phone in the theatre. The phone hadn't been handed in to the event office or to the local police box. We walked around looking for it for about an hour before we returned to the police box to discover someone had handed it in.
Wow, you spent an hour walking around looking for their phone? That must have been exhausting in the August heat.
It was, but while we were walking, I was able to talk to them about where they were from and about their goals for the trip. We even talked about each other's hobbies, families, and so on. It was difficult, but I enjoyed chatting with them. When they learned that their phone had been recovered, they were delighted, and we even took a picture together.
It's great that you're able to make friends with foreign tourists while guiding them around.
When I went on vacation to France, I got a lot of help from local people who gave me directions or told me how to use public transport. So I decided to be just as kind to tourists visiting Japan from abroad.
I think that's fantastic. I expect that as more and more people help one another, the ring of kindness will expand and Japan will get closer to being a country of omotenashi.
Hi, Isabella-san.
Hello,
How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. And how are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. So, Isabella-san, where are you from?
I'm from Perth in Western Australia.
Oh, Perth. Actually, I have ever visited Melbourne and Sydney, but I actually never been to Perth. I would love to visit there after this pandemic. So, could you tell me about what Perth is famous for?
So Perth is famous for its really nice beaches because it is on the coast, and it's also famous for its nice natural flora and fauna, so like native plants and animals.
Oh, very good. So, okay, could you tell me about do many foreign tourists visit your region or local area?
Yes, I believe Perth is actually a hotspot for tourists.
Mm,
So, we get a lot of tourists from maybe China and England and Europe, I believe.
okay, thank you very much. And So many people visit Paris, and do you ever meet a foreign tourist, or do you ever talk to those people?
Yes, I have actually briefly met a
Mm.
few tourists when I've been in the city or at a popular tourist destination.
Okay, do you enjoy talking or interacting with them?
Yes, I think it's really nice to um, introduce yourself and maybe get to know what they're doing during the day.
I see. Thank you very much. So the last question is about Japan. Actually, some people say that Japanese people are generally not kind to foreign tourists. So do you think so? Because
Um,
mainly it's because of the language barrier. Do you think so?
mm, um, Personally, I haven't had such an issue, but I do understand and have heard of experiences where there have been a lot of confusion and
Mm,
frustration between communication.
yeah,
So, yeah,
I think so. Okay. So that is the end of our lesson 13 filming. Thank you very much
thank
and
you.
see you soon.